This is Gemara in Kesubos Daf Kuf Yod Aleph Baruch Hashem, the second to last day of this incredible Masechta. I thank everyone for the amazing feedback. Everyone's appreciating Baruch Hashem. We're back with our good video, audio, all together. B'siyata d'shmaya. It should be able to continue as we conclude the Masechta and Mir Hashem begin the new Masechta in the coming days. As we always say, invite a friend. Let them also enjoy the beauty of a daf as we're beginning Nidarim on Thursday. So we're holding over here on Kuf Yod Amid Beis, and we're holding approximately 20 lines from the bottom. The first word of the line is Basar Guvaini. The two dots, Amar Rav Shimon Gamliel, Omer Noisin La Mima Ois Kaputkia. That said, quoting the Mishnah that says Rashbag, that if you married a woman in Kaputka and you divorced her in Eretz Yisrael, you pay her based on the price, the value, or I should say the monies of Kaputka. And this really is a direct segue from yesterday's daf. That yesterday we learned that the Mishnah seemingly was of the opinion that Ksuba was derabanan. Says Rashbag, you pay Mois Kaputka. The Gemara comments, Kosavar Ksuba daraisa, who would seem based on this opinion of Rav Shimon ben Gamliel that Ksuba is daraisa. And really, we had a discussion way back on Daf Yod that referenced this machlekes, whether Ksuba daraisa or Ksuba derabanan. Tanu Rabbanan, says the Gemara, if you bring a shtar chayv in your friend, if it says Bavel, you have to pay money of Bavel. Kasa b'Eretz Yisrael, magvei maz Eretz Yisrael. Kasa b'Istam, then it depends on where you collect it. Hoitzia bi Bavel, magvei bi Bavel. Bavel, excuse me, b'maz Bavel, hoitzia b'Eretz Yisrael, magvei mimaz Eretz Yisrael. Kasa by Kesef Stam, says the Gemara. Then Masha Yirtza Loiva Magvi, whatever the Loiva wants. Masha Ein Kain Viksuva. And that's the critical line that says the Gemara, the Ksuba is different. Asks the Gemara, ahai, this line of Masha Ein Kain Viksuba, on which din is it referring to? Amar Rav Sharshia Reisha. And this Bryce is clearly holding Ksuba derabanan, so it's going to teach us not like Rav Shimon ben Gamliel. Continues the Gemara, 10 lines on the bottom. The first line is Kasa. Kasa by Kesef Stam, Mashir to Leiva Magbihu. Whatever the Leiva wants, you could collect from. Says the Gemara, Ve'ima Nascha. If you're saying collect whatever you want, why? Maybe you should also just collect a bar of silver. It says a type of coin. So whichever type of coin he wants. Ve'ima asked the Gemara Priti. So maybe he could collect Priti. Maybe he could collect even Prutais. Amar Abba Priti Gazlav the Inchi. That's not a normal scenario. Taner Rabbanan, and from here we go into the Gadata, all about the Milos of Eretz Yisrael. This is going to take us all the way to the end of the Masechta. We're going to say the same Akdama we say by all these Agadatas, that of course there's deeper and deeper explanations, so many different pshatim. What we always try to do is at least get this simple, most pashut explanation. So Taner Rabbanan, says the Gemara, Akum. It's better to live in Eretz Yisrael in a city that's primarily Goyim, you should not live in Chutz Laaretz, Yisrael. Why? Says the Gemara, a startling statement. Shekol Adar B'Eretz Yisrael Doime Kimi Sheyesh Le'Elokah. You live in Eretz Yisrael, you have a God. And if you're outside of Eretz Yisrael, then it appears like you do not have a God. Says the Gemara, a startling statement. Shenemar Losis Lachem Es Eretz Canaan Lias Lachem Le'Elokim. As the Pasuk teaches us that Yishem is giving the land of Canaan to be for our God, and between the end of the Pasuk, Lias Lechem Le'Elokim, and Lias and Nasan L'cha Eretz Canaan referred to Eretz Yisrael, showing us that one in Eretz Yisrael has a God, outside does not. Chosheinu dar b'Eretz Yisrael, ein lo Eloka. Says the Gemara, really? What's going on? We're all in Chutz Laaretz. We don't have a God? What does that mean? We find the same thing by David, that he said, Hashem, says David HaMelech, that they have driven me away from this day, from attaching myself to the Nachala of Hashem, referring to Eretz Yisrael. So David HaMelech, what happens? It's as if you're worshiping other gods. Says the Gemara, and of course, now who is the one that's telling David HaMelech to go serve other gods? You know, we learn off of this pasuk. Meaning, the literal translation sounds like it's as if someone's telling you go worship idols. Now that's extreme. So says the Gemara, means living in Chutz La'aretz is as if on that level. Says the Gemara, Rav Zera v'kamishtam minei min Rav Yehuda. Rav Zera was avoiding Rav Yehuda. Why? Why was Rav Zera avoiding Rav Yehuda? Rav Zera wanted to go up to Eretz Yisrael. Rav Zera wanted to go up to Eretz Yisrael. We're just having lighting issues again. Hopefully we'll get this eventually. Rav Zera wanted to go up to Eretz Yisrael from Bavel, and he knew that his Rebbe Rav Yehuda held that it's inappropriate to go from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, and therefore what was he doing? He was avoiding his Rebbe Rav Yehuda. Dama Rav Yehuda, Kol ha'ila, anyone who goes in the last line, Mi Bavel Eretz Yisrael, Oiver be'asei, Shenemar. As we move over here to Kavir Aleph, Amar Aleph, Shenemar, the pasuk teaches us, Bevala, Yavayu, Vishamayu, you're coming to Bavel, and there you should stay on until when? Ad Yoim Pokte Oisam Nom Hashem, until the day that you are remembered, says Hashem. So what do we see? We see that we're supposed to stay in Bavel. So what are you going up to Eretz Yisrael? Of course, this is a loaded statement. All these Gemaras, as we'll see, are loaded Gemaras, but that's a simple explanation. So Rav Zera was avoiding Rav Yehuda because he knew that Rav Yehuda held he should not go up from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. Rav Zera ubekli sharis ksiv. Rav Zera held that the pasuk is referring to Kli Sharis. It's not referring to people, so you're allowed to go up there yourself. Rav Yehuda ksiv krachin is a different pasuk. Hishbati eschem enois yishayim mitzvaka is obelos asada. That's referring to Kli Sharis, whereas people Rav Yehuda held are included. Rav Zera hushla yalu Yisrael bechayma. Rav Zera learned, what does that mean? That means that you cannot go up in a wall of force, all of Klal Yisrael together, as the top Rashi line says, Yachab Yachazaka, but you are allowed to go. Rav Yehuda, what does he do? Ishvati Achrina Ksev is a different pasuk that refers to that. And we continue on the first medium-sized line. Rav Zera, Rav Yosi, Rav Chanina, Rav Zera held that other Shavuot was learned from Rav Yosi, Rav Chanina. Damar Gimel Shavuot Zalalu Lama. Why do we have these three swearings? Number one, all of Klal Yisrael should never go up to Eretz Yisrael in force. That Hashem made the Klal Yisrael swear that they should not be married, they should not rebel against the nations of the world. And number two, Hashem made a shvua to the Goyim that they cannot work and be mishubad Eretz Yisrael, the Klal Yisrael. Yosim died too much. Rav Yehuda, what does Rav Yehuda retort back? Double lashon. Rav Zera mi'baylich, Rav Levi Zera held that we need for Rav Levi damar sheish shavuos alalu lama. So Rav Zera held, Rav Levi held, there are 6 shavuos. What do we need? 6 shavuos. Tlasa ani damar, the 3 that we just said. Enoch, the other 3 are what? Shleigalu is a case, you can't reveal the end of time when Mashiach will come. Shleiyarchliku is a case, and it can't be distant too far. But Shleiyagu yisoid la'akam, we cannot reveal the yisoid to the secrets to the guy. Says the pasuk by the Kesubos, the gazelles, the hinds of the field. Amar Rav Elazar, Amar La'ema Kadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael, says the Kadosh Baruch Hu to Klal Yisrael. If you're going to fulfill the shvuah, then everything's going to be good. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to permit your flesh, God forbid, Hashem is going to could unleash us to the powers of the beast, etc. Continues the Gemara. Amar Rav Elazar, says Rav Elazar, Kol Adar Be'eretz Yisrael, anyone who lives in Eretz Yisrael, Sharoi, what does he do? B'lo Yavain. You live in Eretz Yisrael, you're living without Avain, without Aveiroi. Shenemar, Ubal Yoimar, Shechein Chalisi Ama Yeshiv Bana Sui Avin. Amalei Rav Ravashi. Says Rav Ravashi, Anam B'Soivli Chaloim Masnino Lehu. You know the way that I learned it. Says Rav Ravashi, I learned it a little bit differently. I learned it with regard to different illnesses. That those are the people that are going to be forgiven from Aveiros. Those that have different diseases and illnesses. Amar Ravanan, Kol HaKavor B'Eretz Yisrael. Anyone that is buried in Eretz Yisrael, Kilu Kavar Tachas Mizbeach. Startling. You're buried in Eretz Yisrael if you're buried underneath the Mizbeach Sevacha, Mizbeach Adama Tasali, Sevasa, Mechiber Azmasai, Amoy. Ula Havi Rogel Havi Sal Eretz Yisrael. Ula was accustomed to go to Eretz Yisrael, Nachla Shev Chutz Haaretz. So even though Ula all the time went up to Eretz Yisrael, he was nifter in Chutz Haaretz. Asu Amru Lei, the Rav Elazar. So they came and they told Rav Elazar, Amar and Ula. So says Rav Elazar, you Ula aladama temeis tamus, for you to die on a contaminated land. How could it be? You're the one who always went to Eretz Yisrael. How could you be the one that's going to die in Chutz Haaretz? Don't worry, his Aron is coming. Okay, it's true, he's being buried, but he responds and he explains that it's not comparable. It's beautiful, and as we're going to see, there's a lot of mailas to be buried in Eretz Yisrael. But explains the Gemara, still it's not the same thing as being nifter in Eretz Yisrael. There was someone that a woman fell to him and Yibam Bechayzah outside of Eretz Yisrael and Bechayzah. So Asla came to Rav Chanina, he came to Rav Chanina, Amar Lei, Ma'ali Mechaz Leivama. Liyam, can I go outside of Eretz Yisrael to do Yibam? Amar Lei. He responded, Acham Nasa Kutes Umeis. Baruch HaMakush Hargoy. Your brother married a Kutis? Good that God killed him. V'hu Yared Acharav, and you're going to follow suit. Now, of course, what does this mean? This does not mean his brother really married a Kutis. What's going on over here is that the Gemara is equating marrying someone from Chutz Haaretz as if they are not Jewish. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Kishem she'asal lasi married to Bavel, kach asal lasi Bavel l'shar haratzos. Just like you can't go from Eretz Yisrael down to Bavel, can't go from Bavel to all the other lands. Rabbi Rav Yisrael down to Tevayel afilim b'Pundisa lebei Kuvi. Who didn't have B'Pundisa lebei Kuvi? There was someone who did indeed go from B'Pundisa lebei Kuvi. Shamtei Rav Yosef put into Chayrim, and the reason over here is because in Pundisa were all the yeshivas. Who didn't have Pundisa lasunai shachif, and what happened? He was nifter. Amar Abaye, Abaye, Aisumir Abanan Avichaye. If a startling statement says Abaye, if he would have been over here in yeshiva, he would not have been nifter. Rav Yosef continues the Gemara. 4 lines from the white lines. Damrit Abaye Ksherin Shebavel Eretzel Kol Tasan. Ksherin Shebisharatza is Bavel Kol Tasan. The Ksherim have this chos of being koilate, of being absorbed literally by Eretzel or Bavel. Lamai, Ilim the Yochsin. If this means with regard to Yochsin, I've Amar Amar. Bavel's on a higher level of Yochsin than Eretz Yisrael. So it can't be referring to Yochsin, Elal Inyan Kfura. Amar Rav Yehuda Kol Adar. Bebavel K'Adar B'Eretzel. Living in Bavel at some level is as if you're living in Eretz Yisrael. Shenemar Havetzion Malti Yesheves Bas Bavel. Amar Abaye on the first white line. Naktinon. Says Abaye, we have a tradition which we know. This primarily means that it's Allah L'Moshe Sinai. Explains Abaye in the first white line. Naktinon Bavel Loi Chazi Chazai Chavli Mashiach. Those in Bavel, says Abaye, are not going to feel the birth pains, the travails of the Mashiach. They interpreted this referring to a place called Hutzal ben Yamin, Karna, the Shivtita, the corner of salvation. Amar Rav Elazar on the second white line. Someone who dies in Chazar, Einon Chayim, will not come back with Chayes HaMeisim. Shenemar, as the Pasuk says, V'nasati tzvi b'aretz Chayim, eretz tzvioni b'meiseh Chayim, she'tzivoni ba'in meiseh Chayim. So only those in Eretz Yisrael, says the Gemara, are going to have Chayes HaMeisim. Masiv Rav Abarbal, this is too far. Says of Aram Amel, Yichu Meisech Nevlesi Yakuman, my love, Yichyu meisecha meisev Eretz Yisrael nevleisi yakumen meisev b'chutz la'aretz. Seemingly the pasuk has two levels: meisev in Eretz Yisrael and meisev b'chutz la'aretz. So seemingly, what's happening? That they will, yes, come back with Techiyas HaMeisim. So explains the Gemara. Umay v'nasati svi b'aretz chayim. Anavucha netzer d'chsev. You know that's referred to. That's referred to Nevucha netzer d'chsev. D'amar Rachmana Ma'asenu Leah Malka the Kalil Ki Tu Voy. Says the Gemara with regard to Nevucha netzer. I'll bring upon himself a king who's as swift as the Kalil Baltavia, as a tzvi, as a gazelle. Noise Amar Alei Rabbi Mikra Echad Ani Darish. Says Rabbi, I'm going to darshin a different pasuk. Mikra Acher Ani Darish. Excuse me. Says Rabbi, I'm going to darshin a different pasuk. Noise Nishama La'am Aleha. Says the pasuk, he gives an neshama to the people upon it, ruach olchem ba, and his spirit to those who walk within it. Ask the Gemara of Elok Sev Neflesi Yakumun. The pasuk says that my corpses, the nevalim, will arise. Says the Gemara, that's by a nefel, a child that is born prematurely. A stillbirth. My avle, what do you use that pasuk? We use this pasuk for Rav Avua. Damar Rav Avua says, "Mar afilu shivcha kenaj Eretz Yisrael." Muftach la shiba seilam abba. Why ksevach lam aleu ksevasa mshvul champayim achamar amadayim lechamar. So even the shvachos, even the maidservants, are promised that they're going to maintain these wonderful things. Continues the Gemara Lalchimba. Amar Rav Yirmiyah. Says the Gemara, we are about 14 lines to the end of Kuf Yud Aleph Amar Aleph. Says Rav Yirmiyah Bar Abba Amar Rav Yechon Kol Malach Ha'Ra'am Eretz Yisrael. See, now till now it's about living in Eretz Yisrael. Now we extend that. Even if you just walk 4 amos in Eretz Yisrael, Muftach Loi Shuben Adam Habal. The Rav Elazar Sadiqim Shem Chosar Teina Chayim. Amar Avila Ayadei Gilgal. So it goes back. It says, I don't understand. You just told me to know Techiyas HaMeisim. You're living outside of Eretz Yisrael. What about the Tzadikim? Says the Gemara Ayadei Gilgal. They're going to have to roll for Techiyas HaMeisim all the way to Yisrael. Masla Rav Abba, Sala Rava, Gilgal Tzadikim Saru. Says the Gemara. But what about? Says Rav Abba Sala Rabba, that's his name. Gilgal Tzadikim Saru. So there's Sar if they're rolling, but they're Tzadikim. Amar Abaya Mechilas Naslan Bekarka. There are going to be Mechilos, tunnels in the ground, so it will not be painful. Menasani Mitzrayim Bekvartani Bekvu Roisam. Amar Karna Dvarim Begu. There's words in this. Yedei Yaakov Avinu Tzadik Amar Haya. Yaakov Avinu knew he's a complete Tzadik and Beishav Chosar Chayim Lama Tzicha Esbanaf. So if he knew that at Lamaisa that everyone's going to be Zeicha like we just said, maybe they'll have to roll, but Lamaisa everyone's going to be Zeicha Techiyas HaMeisim. So why did Yaakov Avinu, the parsha is coming up, force them to read into Eretz Yisrael? Because maybe you won't be Zeicha to the tunnels. Get about Omer, Vayesh Yosef in Yisrael v'Gomer. Amar Chanina. Dvarim Begu. We see from the pasuk of Yosef Tzadik. Yoda Yosef Shatz Moshe Tzadik. Gomer Yosef at Tzadik knew he was a Tzadik. V'Mitzav Chazar Chayim Lametrichas Achavar Ba'amois Parsa. Why was he matriach everyone to bring him if he knew that Lamaisi is going to make it there? Why be matriach? Everyone says the Gemara Shema Lo Yiskel Imachilo Shachalei Achud Rabba Yodei Yaakov Shetzadik Gomer. Similarly, Ilfa Moisef Abad Dvarim Moisef Echad Shayim Mitztayer Elisha Achaz Ubikish Leirid. There's someone who's mitztayer and he wanted to go down to marry her outside very silk. He was just Shama. Kazois Gagul Atzma Ad Yaim Moisai Aval Pisha Chacham Gadol Atayina Daim Elohim Atzalim Rabbi. So he said, why aren't you coming here to learn from us? You need a Rebbe. Vim Taimer in the Charav. There's no one for you to learn from. Yesh Charav Umanu Rav Yechran. Vim Ein Ata Oila Hizayir V'Shlishet Farm. So you should come there and say, but if not, 3 entities, be careful. Altar will be yeshiva, shishiva kashal tachtonis. Don't sit too much. Sitting is bad for hemorrhoids. Altar b'amid, don't stand too much. Shamida kasha, 2 lines to the bottom, lay for your heart. Altar b'alicha, don't walk too much. Alicha kashal einayim is bad for the eyes. Elo, moderation. Shlish b'yeshiva, shlish b'amida, and shlish b'hilach, a third walking, standing, and sitting. Kol yeshiva she'eni masmicha amida neichemenu. If you're sitting without leaning, then leaning is better. Standing is better than amida. You just said amida down. Bad. Ela yeshiva she'eni basmicha amda amida sheish basmicha neicha emenu. If you have a choice between sitting without leaning or standing, it's better to stand without leaning. V'chein amru Yitzchak v'Shimon v'Oishia amru davar echad halachic Rav Yehuda b'Pardos, which is what? Titania, we're on Kuf Yehuda Beis and Beis 4 lines down. Titania, we learned to the right of Yehuda Aimer. Pardos etava ein marvin lo v'sus lo chamar. If we have a parda, we have a mule that is wants to mate. So what do you do with this mule that desires to mate? Says the Gemara, do not give it, not a horse, not a donkey, only its own min. For the mule. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak says Rav Nachman Yitzchak. Zeh Rav Yitzchak Nafcha Shimon Zeh Rav Shimon Bazi Rav Larish Lakish Oishia Zeh Rav Oishia V'Rebbe Amar Rav Lazar Ami Aratzes Einan Chayim. So says the Gemara, as we are on Amud Beis, ending off the narrow lines, that Yitzchak is Rav Yitzchak Nafcha, Shimon is Rav Shimon Bazi, some say it's Rav Lakish, and Oishia is Rav Yishia V'Rebbe. Amar Rav Lazar Amar Aratzes Einan Chayim Amar Aratzim. Do not get up at Tchias HaMesim Shenamar, Mesim Baal Yachiu, that those that are dead are never going to come back to life, referring to those who are not learned. We continue on the second medium-sized line. Tanam Yachim Mesim Baal Yichulu Yachul Lakol Tam Lem Rafam Baal Yikumu Ben Rabbe Atzma Medivrei Torah Akasav Medaber. So makes himself weak in Divrei Torah. Those are the ones that unfortunately will not come back at Tchias HaMesim. Earlier, Rabbi Yechlan. It's not befitting for you to say this. That's for someone who makes himself weak, makes himself lax with regard to avodah zara. All of us sitting here and learning, take chizuk from this, that those who learn Torah, Lamaisa, the Torah is going to give him Tchias HaMesim. Became the Chazid to come at Steyr. Then what happened? He saw of Lazar, saw of Yechanan, who was upset. Amarlei, Rabbi, Matasila Taikanim in HaTorah. I'll tell you a new takana. He was upset that the Amaratzim wouldn't be able to be brought up at Tchias HaMesim because it sounds like you have to learn Torah. So he says, I'll give you a different eitzah. Those that are dovik, those that cling. What does that mean? You're clinging to the Shechina? The Shechina is an ish. Ella kol amasi bitel tam chacham. You are your daughter to tam chacham. Oisa parokmat to tam chacham. You do business with the tam chacham. V'amehena tamid chacham in a chasav, and you benefit. Tamid chachamim, from your fields. Mala lavakasa kilim medavi shchina kiyotz medavar ataymer. We find similarly lavas shem lekech lav kabay. Chayashli adam the davik b'shchina. What does that mean to cling to the shchina? What does that mean? Ella kulam masi bitram chacham oisparag matadam chacham amenet tamid chachamim in chasav. Mala vakasa kilim madvek b'shchina. It's as if he grabbed hold of the shchina. Amar Rav Chia bar Yosef. And with this, we're going to basically conclude. Asidim sadikim shabe savsoin shemevatzin v'olim b'Yushalayim. They're going to sprout and arise in Yerushalayim. Shenamar v'yitzitzim meir ke'isev haaretz. That the sadikim would have tchilas that makes them like the grass of the field. Ve'nir al Yerushalayim. When it says here, it means Yerushalayim. Shenamar gnoisi al yer azois. V'amar Rav Chia bar Yosef. Another statement. Asidim sadikim sheyamdu b'mal b'usheim. Tzadikim are going to get up at Tchias HaMesim wearing their clothing kavachaymer michita from the wheat. Machita, just like the wheat, shekavru aruma, it's buried as a kernel. It's naked. Yaitse bekam levushim, it's born as this stalk of wheat with all the covering. Shenikvu bilvushe, tzadikim shenikvu bilvusheim. Allah has kam v'kam tzad, it's buried in his clothing certainly. Amar Rav Chia bar Yosef Asidar Yitzchak Shadzi Gloski Ois Uklei Milas. Eretz Yisrael, the perfect world, as Shweki called it. Eretz Yisrael is going to bring out ready baked goods and fine woolen clothing. We had this in Gemara in Shabbos. Shenamar Yi pieces ba'aretz. It's going to be growing cotton candy straight from the ground. Incredible at the time of the Geula Mirza Hashem. And the truth is, we'll go a job further. Tanu Rabbanan, we just want to leave something for tomorrow, the last half. Yipis v'hararetz v'roish harim, says the apostle will be abundance of grain in the earth on the mountaintops. Amru said Chachamim, the last medium-sized line. Asidim chitim shetadamer kedekel. The chit in the wheat is going to grow like a palm tree. Va'oila b'rayisharim is going to go all the way up to the top of the mountains. Shema taimi yishar l'kaitzim. Maybe you say, wait, this is not a good thing. We're listing all the good things happening in Mashiach, so if this wheat grows all the way up, but wait, how you don't have to cut it? Talmud Loimar says the pasuk Yirash Kalvanan Piryoi. Says the pasuk, no, it's not going to be a problem to cut it. Why? Because the produce will rustle like the trees, meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu maybe ruach mebeis kenazav u'menash b'alav u'masher es lasai. Shem's going to bring out a wind, and it's going to blow. And what's going to happen? The wheat stalk, and it's going to fall as flour. Incredible. The trees are going to be raining fresh flour of Adam Yaitz L'Sadam, maybe Mali pieces Yadai, or Memena Barnasasa Barnasache Besa, and it's going to be supported. Ready-made flour is going to rain from heaven. And we conclude, it says the Gemara, the Pasuk in Chelev Klaya is Chita, Amra Asida Chita, Shetei Kishtei Klaya Shal Shar Gadol, to be massive. Like the kidneys of a big ox, don't think this is crazy because a fox bore a hole in a turnip and he lived there. Tani went to the Braisa. Amar Rav Yosef Ma'aseh b'shichen ve'echad she'eniach lo aviv shloisha badi chardel, mustard. V'nefashich echad mi'amenim so b'tishah kamen chardel v'etzav sich v'sugas yitzrim, that it became an incredible size, and the wood of that offshoot was enough to make a roof over the Parder's hut. All the incredible miracles that are going to occur. Lasilava Imirta Hashem. And we will pick up, concluding the end of this Amid and the next daf, in the final shir for tomorrow, B'siyata Dishmaya.